December 2010. That was Jaydev Unadkat's first test. 12 years later, December 2022 is his second test. That is the gap that Jaydev Unadkat had between his first and second tests. A whole era has changed in that period. Sachin Tendulkar has retired. Virat Kohli is the gold standard. The world endured coronavirus, but Jaydev Unadkat, the first and second test appearance spanned 12 years. In that period, the entire landscape changed. When he came back, he struck on debut and got his first wicket. But is this the longest ever gap that a player has had between his first and second tests? Actually, no. There are some incredible numbers of tests missed in his first and second, and also the year span. 12 years is a long wait. Is it the longest? Actually, no. So here in this, I'm going to tell you the associated with it when it comes to Jaydev Unadkat. So Unadkat ended a big wait on day one of the Mirpur test. He was picked and Kuldeep Yadav was dropped. Unadkat took Zakir Hasan's wicket. Remember, Zakir Hasan had scored a century on debut in Chattogram. Getting his wicket was a good boost for Jaydev Unadkat. It was his first test wicket and he played test cricket after 12 years. Remember this tweet? Dear Red Ball, please give me one more chance. I'll make you proud. Promise. This tweet, when you looked at his selection, when he took the wicket, it went viral. And that is why you see you would want Jaydev Unadkat to do a lot better in this test match. Because 12-year wait, lots has flown under the bridge at that point in time. And remember, Unadkat was coming into this test match with plenty of confidence. Remember, in 2020, before the world shut down for COVID, he helped Saurashtra win the Ranji Trophy for the first time ever. He also helped them win the Vijay Hazare Trophy. So, domestic, he was in prime form. He also ended up as one of the leading wicket takers in a particular season. And he played when Sachin Tendulkar hit his 50th test century, and that was at Centurion. But unfortunately, he did not take a single wicket in Centurion. And after that, his career stalled. As I had mentioned, so much has changed. Sachin Tendulkar has retired, MS Dhoni has retired, Virat Kohli is now the gold standard when he was just establishing himself, and now Unadkat in between that has played a test. Now, if you have to look at the longest gaps and the number of matches that an individual has missed, Unadkat is actually second on the list. From his first test match all the way until his second, in that 12 years, India and he missed a total of 118 test matches. But who holds the record? England off-spinner Gareth Batty. Remember, Gareth Batty had played in 2004 and 5. Remember, he was in that Antigua test match when Lara hit that 400. 11 years later, staggeringly and surprisingly, he returns for the series against Bangladesh. He has very moderate success, but then is not picked ever again. Jaydev Unadkat, 118 matches. Martin Bicknell of England played in 1993 in the Ashes, returned in 2003 for the South Africa series. Floyd Reefer, remember Raymond Reefer? His father Floyd Reefer played in 1999 and then returned only in 2009. But that at a time when the West Indies A team was in the midst of a contract dispute. Yunus Ahmed, he made his debut when Gavaskar had also made his debut, and his second test was when Gavaskar retired 18 years later. Truly phenomenal in the way how much, and in that period Pakistan and Yunus Ahmed missed a total of 104 tests. Derek Shackleton missed 103. But if you want to look at which Indian missed the most test matches in this period before Unadkat, it was Dinesh Karthik. 2010 till 2018, he missed a total of 87 tests that India had played. So Unadkat is 118 tests better after, you may say, his first test. Now, what is the longest gap for an Indian player when it comes to test cricket? Actually, Jaydev Unadkat, 12 years and 2 days, he's actually not had a big gap. The biggest gap only by 127 days more is Lala Amarnath. 1934 to 1946. But remember, Lala Amarnath's 6 years were all interrupted by World War. And the same is true for Hindlekar, for Syed Mushtaq Ali, for C.S. Naidu and Vijay Merchant. All of their careers were impacted by the Second World War. But Unadkat's career is the only one that has not been impacted by a war. Yes, 2 years you can say the pandemic, but even then India still played test matches on a regular basis. So among Indians, he's second, behind only Lala Amarnath. But what is the longest gap and intervals when it comes to individual appearances? Unadkat does not even feature in this because that record is held by John Trykos. 22 years and 222 days. Can you believe it? Okay, this guy has got a very, very geographical personality. He is the only Egyptian-born player, John Trykos. He played for South Africa in their last series before their isolation. 22 years later, he then turns up for Zimbabwe. And why Trykos is special? Because he took a 5-wicket haul on debut for Zimbabwe. And who did he take for a golden duck? Not for a golden duck, actually for a duck, Sachin Tendulkar, cotton bowled. So Trykos, after 22 years and 222 days, when he last played for South Africa in Port Elizabeth against Australia, he then comes up for Zimbabwe against Harare. 17 years, George Gunn, but yet again interrupted by the First World War. Yunus Ahmed, as I had said, 18 years, Gavaskar's debut and Gavaskar's last. That is the period in which he played his first and second tests. Mike Comale of South Africa, 1910 to 1928. First test 1910, again 4-5 years, the First World War had interrupted him. He came back in 1928. Don Cleverly, 1932 to 1946, 14 years and 28 days. But again, Second World War. So apart from Yunus Ahmed and John Trykos, because of the unfortunate policies of the South Africa apartheid regime, he had to wait for a very long time. And I talked about geography, right? He's now currently staying in Australia. Egypt, South Africa, Zimbabwe and Australia. Truly a global personality, John Trykos. So Jaydev Unadkat, after 12 years and 2 days, finally makes it back into the Indian cricket test team. But whether he picks up 5 wickets or how many wickets he takes, it all depends on how he manages to do well in this Mirpur test. We wish Jaydev Unadkat well and hope that he gets plenty of sustained success from this point in time. Thank you so much, folks, for listening to this live. We'll be back with more updates from Sports Today. Press the like, comment and share button. We are also on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Thank you.